Welcome to Swarf and Chips. This week is a special edition for the Engineering Technology Group. We're joined by Martin Doyle, who is the Group Managing Director. We also have an exclusive announcement and we've got Christmas lights. Welcome to the show, Martin.
Thank you, Lindsay.
We broke the budget with those.
We did, didn't we? They look great. I wonder who put them up.
Not me.
Me.
Good job.
Now, I've got a challenge for you. Tell us all about ETG in 60 seconds.
Well, only 60 seconds. Yes. Okay, I'll try. I think if it's to fit it into 60 seconds, I have to concentrate on the principles that we represent. So basically, our company ETG, the principles that we represent, being Nakamura, Hardinge Bridgeport, Quasar, Showroom, and the others such as Starmer and Hantman, etc. They're the core parts of the business. That's our core competence. Is basically machine tool distributor, but we shouldn't forget we've got Hi4 for the manufacturing of bespoke work holding and also standard work holding as well, and we're very much a turnkey supplier. So we're not a volume seller of machine tools. We look more for the sort of added value to the customer, added value benefits to the customer. So the total turnkey solutions. Am I in?
That's
no,
like
that's
60
good.
seconds.
I'm sorry, someone's going for 60
No,
seconds.
you
How
got
long was it?
That was
That's
perfect.
perfect.
You're on about
Okay.
2 seconds left, so
Right, okay.
perfect.
Right.
Have you ever
Wow.
done what's a minute? Is it what's a minute?
No.
Just a minute.
So you could have forewarned
With no
me.
hesitation,
You could have forewarned me.
repetition.
I could have packed it in a little bit better. There you go.
Well, you know what? That was perfect, Martin, because my first question I want to ask you is, you've named all of these different areas of your company, but how do you get all of that information across and educate all of the engineers about all of these different machines you've got?
Well, the way we set the business up is almost quasi-subsidiaries within the business, which is Engineering Technology Group. So we have these subsidiaries within the group. So Showroom, in its own right, is a company within the group. We have TT UK, which represents Nakamura. So they all have their own specialists under the one umbrella, which is ETG. And that's the only way we can do it, really, is have the specialists that concentrate on just one particular product and become the absolute expert in that product.
Yeah, and when you're talking about your specialists, for me, I'm thinking, are they dotted around the country? You know, you haven't just got a sales guy going out just to, you know, discuss all the brands, or is that an element that happens within the company?
Well, in the back, what I call the back office side of the business, so the sales guys, as an example, the service engineers, and the finance side of it, that covers the whole spectrum. But then they can call upon the specialists for a particular product. So we'll have technical engineers, applications engineers that solely concentrate on one of the principles.
Do you think the fact that you represent a lot of different brands gives you an advantage over maybe some of your competition that just have one brand of product?
Yeah, we're dare I say, we're not a one-trick pony. You know, we can cover all the bases. So we have the guys, the owner drivers, if you like, one or two people with one or two machines, right up to the big blue chip OEMs. We've basically got all the bases covered. There are a couple of elements within the business where there's some gaps, but yeah, maybe we'll talk about that next year.
Well, I'm sure we will come on to next year.
We'll bring it all up.
You mentioned the brands already. You go right from the Starmer, and I don't want to say that the Hardinge Bridgeport is an inferior product to the Starmer, but they're completely different machine tool types, aren't they? Aimed at completely different marketplaces.
Yes, we have within the range. You've, as I say, you've got everything from standard 2-axis lathes and 3-axis VMCs, right up to the multi-spindle Starmers, as you mentioned, the big gantry type mills in the Hantmans, and then you've got this super eye-wateringly quick speeds and feeds of a Showroom, as an example, and the multi-axis of a Nakamura.
Moves as fast as you.
Not quite, but all the bases are covered. So yeah, it's a good mix.
Talking about this year, Martin, because you said it's been a challenging year. I think we can safely say everyone's saying about a challenging year regarding Brexit. But you actually say ETG have come off well. How?
I think because of the seeds we've planted in the last 2 or 3 years. As I say, we're a turnkey provider, mainly, solution provider. So some of these projects that take the gestation period, if you like, for these projects can be a couple of years. In fact, we've just won an order recently. We've been working with a company, first tier automotive supplier, for the last 18 months, and only 2 months ago they placed the first order on Hi4 for £1.5 million worth of fixtures. Now you don't get them every week, and they take a long time to come through. Once they're through, you tend to reap the benefits of that in going forward. But we've had a good year because of the seeds we've put in 2015, 2014 on the big projects. They're all starting to come to fruition now, which is great.
Martin, when did you become the Group Managing Director?
We had the management buyout about 18 months ago now, so May of 2015, and that saw the exit of our founder, Paul Rhodes, So now it's myself and my business partner John Temple are the shareholders within the business.
Is it fair to say that over the last 3 years the business has changed dramatically?
Yeah, it certainly has massively. If you was to wind the clock back about 5 years now, Chiron, the Nakamura, are all well-known brands. It's probably safe to say ETG wasn't that well known. The brands were, but the group wasn't. So we've made a big effort to get us on the map now, as far as the group's concerned.
It was almost seen within the industry as a bit of a coup getting the Hardinge Bridgeport under the umbrella. Would you agree?
Certainly was, yes. I mean, you get when you pull the brands together, such as Hardinge Bridgeport, and the Quasar come with that deal as well, and your Chirons, your Nakamura, you pull them together. I mean, it's like the holy grail of machine tools, bringing all of them guys into one under one group.
And you've had a big reorganisation in the business to make it a bit more efficient. Can you talk to us more about what you've done?
So the first phase was the MBO. So we're into the second phase of the plan now, the master plan, if you like, and that will see us move out of Southam into Wellesbourne. So we're consolidating the business to look at our efficiencies. Communication can be a problem in any company of our size as well. So we've looked to put everyone under the same roof and improve our communication communication issues that we have had, and obviously that will roll on to down to the customers, and the customers will start seeing the benefit of the communication, the improved communication within the company once we're all under the same roof in Wellesbourne, which between now and Christmas, so in the next week. We'll finish that second phase.
And Lindsay's mentioned about 2016 and maybe how this year has been for you. Yeah. As a big company comes challenges and risks, but are you glad you're in your position in a year that has been fraught with challenges? Yeah,
we've had a good time, Paul, of it, to be fair.
But there are some that haven't. There are lots that haven't.
Yeah, I think, but if you look at, we're all having fun. I mean, it's machine tools and engineering. It's a very good industry to be in now. It's the place to be. It's up and coming, and I think
you call this fun.
I think it's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
You do too.
Yeah, it's just, I wouldn't be doing anything else. Put it that way. So
is that because you can't?
I can't. I'm a man of multi-talents, to be honest. But I chose engineering. Yeah, exactly. So no, I think it's a good place to be. And challenges, you should see them as just that, challenges. They're not issues or problems. And yet we've had dips. Everyone else has. And it's a lumpy business we're in. And the challenge is to get through it.
I think I know you're loaded with questions, Lindy, but I wanted to ask one. Have you got a kind of an order you look back on this year as something that was almost a game changer for you? Yeah,
yes. This one particular order, I can't mention the customer name, but this first tier supplier into the automotive industry, when we talked about Hi4, with it was an order for 70 fixtures, 1.5 by the time we finish, it can be over £2 million worth of fixtures in there. Now, these fixtures have to go on a machine. When we're talking 70 fixtures, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Even you could work it out, Paul, as to how many machines.
You've got a calculator.
How many machines are needed. So we're working on the machine element now of it as well. That is a game changer for us.
So you're talking about consolidation, and is everything moving over to Wellesbourne now then?
Yeah, everything that's in Southam currently, so we have a number of facilities at the moment, so we've got High 4 in Coventry, let's not forget ETG Island as well. Southam has been our headquarters up until now and home of the permanent trade show or showroom, and Wellesbourne is our operations division. So Wellesbourne's going to become our headquarters and still our operations site. So everything from Southam, literally everything, is going to move over to Wellesbourne between now and the new year, next couple of weeks. Actually, Paul was over last week, so
yeah, I was there last week. Yeah,
you've seen the building work that's going there.
Okay, great. Don't go anywhere because we've still got our ETG exclusive. However, let's go over and see Paul at Wellesbourne.
I'm at the Engineering Technology Group in Wellesbourne. Yes, this is the new home. This is where everything to do with ETG is going to happen. Whether you're talking service, spares, the showroom to come and look at machine tools, come and see machines that are in stock, accounts, whatever, everything's going to happen here at Wellesbourne. Very much in transition at the moment. Everything from Southern is moving across to here, including the permanent trade show, which we're going to have a quick look at now. Now, bear in mind that word transition. We're lucky to have been invited here today. This just to give you an idea of what you can see here in a few weeks' time. If you ever went to the permanent trade show in Southam, it was extremely impressive. It was very popular, and this will be exactly the same. This is where machines are going to be located: Hardinge, Chiron, the Hardinge Bridgeport, the Nakamura. All those machines will be here and able to perform cutting demonstrations for you in the permanent trade show. Very much in transition. This will be ready to be visited in the new year in 2017. The beauty of everything coming here means everything is under one roof. Whether you're looking to talk to service engineers, whether you're looking to find out about spare parts, whether you want to get a feel for the whole business rather than just the sales organisation, you can now do that here at Wellesbourne. You can see it's a huge expanse of area here. As I've said already, if you're looking at spares, they'll all be housed here. Machine tools will come into this facility, brought in for stock or brought in as part of orders. Turnkeys will be produced here. In fact, everything to do with the Engineering Technology Group is going to be now here at their new home in Wellesbourne. This is an open invitation to you to come in 2017 and check out this place and witness the latest in machine tool technology.
We're joined by Gareth Jones from in-comm. Welcome to the show, Gareth.
Thank you very much.
You have an exclusive announcement to make. What is it?
We do. So moving into 2017, we're creating 5 strategically placed technical centres throughout the UK, which will do 3 things, all of equal importance. So act as a showroom for us, so a regional showroom for our products. It will also act as a training facility, so when we're selling a machine, operator programmer training, the local customers will have a local place to go to. And thirdly, we're focusing on apprenticeships as well. So within these facilities, we're going to be creating real world or industry ready cells within these facilities, so apprentices and trainees or anyone can go along and see a real world environment. So the traditional apprenticeship with rows of turret mills, rows of standard or manual lathes and milling machines, we're basically taking it to the next level.
So it'll be full CNC machines in these facilities.
So these are going to be commercial outfits for the wider industry, but really there's a massive skill gap where everybody keeps going on about the skills gap. There's also a competency gap. And these UK-wide technical centres are going to help plug those gaps. I mean, the skills gap is being able to do a job. The competency gap is using skilled engineers on the shop floor to work with the youngsters or upskilling existing engineers to be able to pass on the problem-solving element of the education, and that's where true competency is, knowledge and experience. So it's not just skills, it's actually the competency agenda as well.
And where does in-comm fit into this?
So in-comm was founded in 1982. We've recently forged a relationship with ETG and Martin Doyle, and we just hit it off. I think both of our agendas driving our businesses to grow. We'd sustained a plateau really through the levelling out of engineering since the mid to late 90s. It was an unsexy word, and as Martin referred to earlier, actually engineering's coming back in a big way. And with the emphasis on vocational training coming now as a different route to the Labour government when they were pushing university, and it was all university skills and technology and service industry. Well, to have a strong economy, you've got to be making something. And then the rest of the services will drip out of that. And that's exactly what's coming back now, the emphasis on actually industry and creating product. And with that, obviously, comes the skills gap where we wave our hand.
The first centre, we've been lucky enough to be involved with the Marches LEP, so the Local Enterprise Partnership. And there's 4 companies come together, in-comm being one of them, Granger and Worrell, Salop Design, and Classic Motor Cars. And the company, local company, has all got together, had a chat and recognised the skills gap and wanted it to be industry-led. So they got together and with the backing of the Marches LEP, they're creating an absolutely fantastic, groundbreaking facility in Bridgnorth, which will be open middle of next year. And as I say, ETG are lucky enough to be involved as a technical partner in that. We're going to be supplying machines into that particular facility.
So will this have an impact or an effect on your sort of marketing plans and strategies over the next 2 years? Is it going to be a big part?
Definitely.
Are you doing shows as well, or are you channeling your efforts entirely?
Yeah, this is where we're 100% focused on this. Now we can't do it all. So for example, for MAC 2018 as an example, absolutely fantastic flagship event for machine tools, certainly. We will be there on a much smaller scale. We'll be representing Hi4, which is fantastic. You know, it's a fantastic platform for them. However, our focus is going to be in these regional facilities for the next 2-3 years. We have a plan going out on to 2020, and that's going to be the focus 100% for the next 3-4 years.
Is this a classic win-win scenario? We talk about education. We all want. I've done an apprenticeship. You know, I've turned handles, pressed buttons, and all the rest of it. And I can recognise I was at a technical college a couple of weeks ago, and I was dead impressed with what they were doing, and the youngsters in there from 14 to 18, in fact, coming out of school at 14. Didn't want to stay at school, but want to get their hands on machines and making parts.
You want to almost like be jumping into the real world straight away, don't you?
And that's what they're doing. So the win-win element, it's great for youngsters, it's great for manufacturing, it's great for the UK. But for ETG as a business as well, this will enable you to have a much bigger presence around the UK, correct?
Yeah, it does just that. We're here for the long game as well. So we have to support our customers. I hear it all of the time, Paul, and I'm sure you guys do, you know, travelling up and down the country, the skills gap and the apprentice, our customers who wanting to take on apprentices. Some of them can't because it's a lot of time and money as well to take on these apprentices. But they also, I'm finding, and no disrespect to the colleges and universities, are also hearing that, you know, in the first, second year, they're coming out and they haven't even seen what I class as a real world environment now. I'll give you an example. I done my apprenticeship over 20 years ago. Went back to the apprentice school about 2-3 months ago now. First time I'd been back in like 17 years. And I saw the same machines. You know, when I say the same machines, yes, they've been upgraded. When I say upgraded, the technical spec hadn't been upgraded, they'd just been replaced like for like over the years, you know. And the thing is, these you have to be at the coalface. You have to see what the next technology level is to be able to know how to train these young people.
But it's got to be industry-led as well. It has to be industry-led because they're at the forefront with innovation, product development, etc. So we've got to be ingrained to write the right programs. So that's our responsibility, working with industry to create the right programs. But then on the other front, industry's got to take responsibility as well. Rather than cutting corners and just using 1 day a week engineering programs that some colleges are offering, well, that's just watered down, and that watering down of that education means we're watering down the skill base. I know a lot of senior leaderships now, on the senior leadership teams gone on to old companies that started with an engineering apprentice or apprenticeship, and then travelled through, first year off the job, core foundation skills, moving on to level 3 HNC, HND, etc. So if it worked then, why are we trying to water it down now for an instant return on investment? That skill base is going out into the economy for the next 40 years, and we're accepting that. well, we're not going to push it forward in any way if we don't do something about it. Like
So you've mentioned apprentices. However, just to finish off, Martin, you also say these are going to class as regional showrooms. So you're also looking after engineers in the industry now as well. How's this going to help? Are you going to have lots of different brands in these showrooms?
Yeah, what we'll do, like as I say, we'll create cells, if you like. So we'll have all of the brands will be represented in these showrooms, and they'll all be will be supported by the likes of Hydrofeed and the likes of Mastercam with their CAD cam, and your tooling companies all come together and create a real world environment in these showrooms. One for the local engineers, but also the engineers of the future. Yeah,
it's impressive. Maybe we can come and visit in about 6 months' time or something like that, Martin.
that would be perfect.
We could send Mark up to learn. How about that?
I think I don't think we do 10-year long programs, to be honest, so we ain't got enough time.
Oh dear,
Sorry.
what are you like?
He's giving me the evils. Sorry, he's in the crowd over there. Sorry.
Well, actually, to get you back, next up, we're going to hear about some of your customers.
I look forward to it.
So, customer comments. Martin, are you ready for this?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay. This is from Tom Brown from Thomas Brown Engineering. I have purchased many machines from Martin at Hardinge and ETG over the years. As I'm sure Martin will agree, I'm not the easiest person to sell a machine to. We have high expectations for quality and a good deal. And however, we always get there in the end, and we know we can trust Martin to stand by what he says and deliver an excellent machine for our business. That's very nice.
Coming from Tom Brown, that's a great one. Fantastic company. Really good.
Okay, we've got Mark Lewis from CNC Speedwell.
Okay.
This is why I was thinking raters, but no. Looking forward to the upcoming visit to Dublin and subsequently accepting your very generous offer for a free machine. Right. There is a smiley face, like a little emoji.
Thank God, because I didn't know whether I agreed to that after a few beers or whatever. But no, another great company. Mark Lewis works like a Trojan. That guy. I mean, he's here, there, and everywhere. Really is the anchor for that CNC Speedwell. He really is. Fantastic guy. Fantastic
All automotive machinery up there?
Yeah, predominantly automotive. They've won some big contracts, obviously confidential to them. But been going year on year, growing a huge amount of investment in CNC machines over the years, and we've been part of that, which is great.
Well, he's saying on a serious note, I believe ETG are heading in a great direction, so it's reciprocal, isn't it?
We had a ton of these. We really did, didn't we? Lindsay's obviously selected.
I've chosen all the ones that I want to say. Now, this is from Nick Epps from Bowmill. This is funny, right? Prepare yourself for this one. If you were on an important overseas trip, in brackets Japan, with VIP customers, and the customer lost his luggage, what lengths would you go to ensure he was suitably attired for the duration of the trip?
Okay, I know where he's going with that one, and I wouldn't want to embarrass the customer by mentioning any names. So, you wouldn't, would you? So, let's, for instance, hypothetically speaking, if it was David Boucher from Bowmill who actually lost his luggage, I wouldn't mention it live on something like MTD with thousands of viewers, So I wouldn't mention David Boucher on Bowmill who lost his luggage.
No. In Japan?
In Japan,
Okay.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, he says if a VIP customer, now David could possibly be a VIP, but maybe not. He says...
He certainly is.
Oh, he is, okay. So he became unconscious during an ETG function through alcohol consumption.
Isn't that always the aim?
Yeah.
What measures would you go to protect his dignity? But
okay, well, yet again, I wouldn't mention it live on MTD TV. But so if Pete Weaver, as an example, from Bowmill, did actually have too much to drink and pass out on an ETG do, which isn't unheard of. I wouldn't mention that either. So I would protect their dignity if it was Pete Weaver from Bowmill.
If it was.
By not mentioning it.
Okay. Let's move on from that one then.
I think we better, to be honest.
Yeah. And this one's lovely, and I think everyone's going to love this one. So, my granddad, Martin Doyle, makes me watch Swarf and Chips every week instead of Postman Pat. So I hope you can help me, because my nan has told me that Grandad is on your show on Friday, and I wanted to know if you could try and find out what I've got for Christmas, as he won't tell me. This is Ethan James Doyle, age 3.5.
A machine tool, a Nakamura.
Well, he's got, don't tell him, he's got DZ24 shear on in the garage. To be fair, there's 3 people that got any chance of controlling me. That's me mum, my wife Louise and Ethan. He's absolutely fantastic. He'll be here in 40 years' time. He'll have the monopoly on machine tools, trust me. He'll be sat on this show in 40 years' time.
Is that because he's got one in the garage lined up?
Yeah, he's programming them already.
So before we go into some more of your customer comments and videos, we obviously ask for selfies on this show. We like people to send them in, and we've had a couple of selfies come in, so I thought it'd be good to have a look at these. Do you know this guy?
Where did you get that from?
I like the eyebrows on this one. What's the deal there?
Okay, get it off, yeah.
Lovely.
That's when I was young.
And then there's this one. Where are you on this picture, Martin?
Yeah, you know exactly where I am. Jesus Christ.
Was this when you came out of your apprenticeship?
I was in my apprenticeship then. That's my... Oh no, that was proper 80s. That's an Apprentice of the Year award, that was,
really?
Actually, from Buck and Hickman.
What, you're presenting it?
Oh my God, yeah, all right, get it off.
Here we go, look,
Yeah.
Martin Doyle, this is your life.
Your customers, so we're going to start with North Bucks. They've just bought a Quasar machine.
Yeah, they're great companies. So Stuart, they had the bike frame on the stand at the previous Mac, but also his main part of his business is he's branching into Formula One, so he's got some good contracts going on with Formula One teams at the moment. Very high end stuff.
That bike, when we visited, that's the cost to buy that bike. The amount of time he spent manufacturing it, it would cost thousands if you wanted to buy it, wouldn't it? It was some ridiculous figure like 12 grand.
Something like that. But probably only yourself could afford that, Paul. To be fair. So.
I could afford it, but I couldn't ride it. But this is a great example of a Quasar 5-axis machine, but a big 5-axis machine, isn't it? Because I believe it's the 630 with a huge table. Yeah. You can put a lot of weight on the table, and he's getting he's enjoying the installation.
Pushing it to its limits. He's getting the most out of that machine. He really knows how to work his machines. Very good technical guy.
Right, and of course we've got Batch Flow.
Yeah.
He's got 2 machines now, hasn't he? He's just bought another Nakamura.
Very loyal customer, very good.
He's got the WT100, which is the kind of the baby of the WT twin turret range, isn't it?
Yes.
And he had the WT150 before it, which was the bigger machine. This is, well, a very glowing reference at the speed of the machine, lights out production, the reliability of the Nakamura brand. This really is a great endorsement for you guys. He's got a lot of equipment in his machine shop. The business has grown pretty fast. But when he talks about his Nakamura, he talks about them in a really glowing light.
His chest goes out, yeah.
His chest, yeah. And he loved the control as well, and the fact that the control, the new functions in the touchscreen control, which are a lot different to the older WT150.
We're hearing that from a lot of customers, the control element of it with the Nakamuras. They're keeping it at the forefront from a technical aspect when it comes to the control, making it very user-friendly, functionality, and that's there. It's fantastic.
And he's not even just, his second machine wasn't, to increase in terms of what he's doing. He just wants to make sure his work is steady, and he's going back to you again for reliability as well.
And how many Nakamuras would you sell in a year, Martin?
We'll do about 50 to 60 in a year, but then obviously we need to add on to that the AS range, which is the big volume seller as well. The WT range after the AS is our bread and butter when it comes to Nakamuras. So we've always got one of these going through, multiple machines going through the shop as in stock down at Wellesbourne. AS's, WTs, we've got them in stock all the time because they're just going out. They go out like hotcakes.
Last but not least, JJ Hardy. You've given away a free machine, Martin.
Yes, we did.
What
yes,
made you think of this?
Well, we'd like to do. We've said it before. We like to be different at ETG. So that's kind of the next big thing to do, sort of thing. Giving a machine away. It's he's getting the most out of it now. It's been installed for a good few months. I know you've been up there and
we shot this video up there. He was really, really he's going to be pleased and impressed because he's got a free machine tool.
Yeah,
But the thing was, I think we've mentioned on Swarf and Chips before that he'd actually seen a significant improvement in the cycle time reduction of the parts he was making as a result of the hard-hinge machine. That's right, yeah. So it wasn't just the fact he got the machine, it was also the fact that he's made a saving as well. And it came with all the bells and whistles as well.
All the equipment, it's just hit the ground running, and he should be happy.
Have you had people ring you and say, when's the next free machine giveaway?
Well, Mark Lewis from so, but no, yes, we have, yeah. So, but we've got a few other. You can't sit on your hands. You know, you've got to keep moving and thinking of new things.
What have you got up your sleeves then?
Well, I've been asked, how do you beat, giving a machine away? But you usually get standard deals, free tooling package and extended warranties and all that. They're all pretty standard. We can do all that, we do all that as well. But in line with what we spoke about earlier with the regional technical centres, once they're in place, and to support the skill gap initiative to fill that gap, we're going to be giving away a free apprentice with every machine.
Wow. What, so if an engineer comes and buys a machine, you'll give him an apprentice to work with that machine? Or
what we're going to do is we're going to fund and sponsor an apprentice in the first year for that particular company. We'll take him into the training centre, we'll get him trained up, fully up to speed on the latest equipment, and then in the second year we'll put him into the company that's bought the machine. So this is a slow burn, and that's the initiative. Again, our bit going towards filling the skills gaps and getting the apprentices back on board.
So is this going to start next year?
Yes, correct. Once the regional centre.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been
Martin.
a pleasure. It's been great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you for watching Swarf and Chips. As you know, Christmas is coming up, so we do have our Christmas show next week. We've received loads of comments, so thank you so much. If you do want to send any in, the details are across the bottom of the screen. If you want to watch any previous episodes, of course, do follow the links on the screen and keep those spindles turning.